the Big Easy and doing some punk funk music with Captain Buckles. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
So let's
That sounds
hear
pretty
about,
good.
go ahead, let's hear about the band and how you guys are doing down there.
It's going really great, and it's our debut full-length album, and we've come out with two singles before this, and we've been releasing a single every 2 weeks for
Okay.
the album. So at this point, we only have one more before the full album release on
Right.
November 14th. Um, and yeah, it's quite it's the fruits. Um it's come to fruition.
Mm,
The vision has come to fruition nicely, and we're all really pumped about it. And what vision that is it's been kind of like this gravity thing rather
okay.
than like anybody's like vision. I mean, I guess more or less I've been coming up with the idea and have been trying to throwing the idea out, but it's kind of happened on its own accord with
Mm,
everybody kind of gravitating towards it. So that's really cool.
mm,
We are having a an album release, uh,
okay.
calling it a roller skate dance album release fest.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah,
a great idea. I like that. And that'll be down in New Orleans,
I'll be down in New Orleans on November 9th. It's going to be at this repurposed old Family Dollar that's become this kind of event space, and it's
mm.
been a free store. It's called the Fred Hampton Free Store, and it's a do-it-yourself venue. And yeah, they've been doing great things. They have a free store Mondays and Thursdays. They have kids skates.
Oh, I can't beat that. That's great.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
could talk about how long have the bands been together? How long have you guys been playing?
Well, the band as this name has been together, been this name for about 7 or 8 years.
Mm,
In this form, with the kind of ability it has now in the chemistry, it's been about 2 years.
okay.
And specifically with our drummer, Ezell Smith Jr., it's been
Mm,
about just over a year, I think. So, but we've all played together in different outfits, and we've known
mm,
each other for many, many years. And like for example, Alex Mallet, the guitarist and primary songwriter,
right.
I was kind of in his band Chops, called Chops, when he came about 8 years ago. I kind of joined his band 6 years ago, but he kind of stopped doing that and
Mm.
and allowed us to do his originals, maybe about five years ago or so.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
And who are the members of the band? Maybe you could tell us who's in the band.
So Alex, he's been in the band for quite a few years. Easy. Oh, Alex is from Fort Lauderdale, but he's been in New Orleans for about 8 years.
Okay.
Um, on guitar and vocals, and he's doing more vocals lately, which is cool. Um, then Easy, kind of the newest member of the band, I guess. He's born and raised in New Orleans, or I think uh, Harahan, or I'm not sure exactly which city he would say
Mm,
it's from, but he went to St. Augustine for a
okay.
year, and he's on drums, and he took over last year when one of our original drummers, Tyler Clements, decided to take a sabbatical.
Okay.
Um, but I mentioned Tyler because he was pretty instrumental in getting the vibe of the band the way we are, like really just like
You
really
guys,
forward
yeah, because you
about it.
guys have a great punk funk sound. I mean, it's really exciting.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. And it's interesting talking to you about it because me and Alex did hear that song that you did that was covered by, I guess, Master P.
Oh, great. Okay.
what was it called again? It was called
Well, was it Grandmaster Flash? It was
Samantha
White
Flash.
Lines.
Yeah, yeah, and it was kind of like while we were waiting for the last interview, I was kind of like, oh man, that's pretty catchy. And
Yeah,
I've never met another person who has been described as punk funk.
isn't that
And
something?
yeah, yeah, it really was like, oh, cool, like and and before talking about that, I just want to say real quick, and Rob Davis, he's been in the band for
Yes.
about 2 years, and he's also he's I think he's got that punk attitude for sure. And he's like born and raised in New Orleans, and he plays keys mostly also, but also like hops in on timbales and guitar or bass and vocals, and he's contributed 2 songs to this album, which is really quite an
That
honor.
is good.
And Phil Breen is one of our other keyboard players and synth players and piano, and he joined the band about 2 years ago. But I've known him the longest. I've known him for like 13 years. He's one of the first musicians that one of the first musicians I met when
Hmm.
I came into town.
You got almost like a family atmosphere down there. Everybody knows each other, and you've been playing a long time. And this is the fruition of all that work is now your first record. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting. And it's funny, the idea of family and community
Hmm.
and what a band is, could be, or should be has really evolved over the years. It's been one experiment after the other, and I guess the band has been one big experiment. And yeah, I've gone through a lot of phases of trying to dial that in, and also kind of dial in like what exactly that makes us maybe it, not so much that makes us special, but makes the band worth having. Like, you
Hmm.
know, I remember when one of my ex-bandmates he wanted to start the band, and I was like, why should I start a band? I'm already in like 5 bands.
Hmm.
One that plays country, one plays funk, one plays R&B and soul, one plays rock and roll and blues, and the other plays like indie rock or something. Like I was like,
Yeah, you're
I'm
all over
already
that something.
yeah, I'm already getting my fix in all of these genres
Yeah.
and having a ball doing it. And I was like, well, if I'm gonna form a band, it'll be like a group of sidemen. The original idea was you know, uh everybody brings 5 songs to the table and everybody learns all those songs in the band, and everybody takes turns on stage calling songs.
Oh, I like that.
Nobody can skip and nobody can say no, because I've been in enough bands where like a band leader will call a song and somebody be like, "No, I don't want to do that." It's like,
Yeah, that's the problem. There's always tension in bands. It's very hard
yeah,
to find people that you really enjoy being with, not playing.
yeah, yeah,
That because
exactly.
sometimes you're in a group and then you don't, after the gig's over, one person goes the other way, one the other, and it starts friction and it's not easy.
Yeah, it's like the comedy trope is like you never say no. You say yes and we haven't like, we've talked about it enough times and we've played enough times to where like generally that happens, but we're still very human, and it's very easy to get in your head about things, about what your expectations are and what you want from other people. So, but we're still dialing it in, and in that regard, I think that kind of makes us a little more punk than some other bands, because it's a little there is a level of irreverence. There is a
Mm.
level of like, we're taking it seriously, but not too seriously. Like I was trying to, in my experiments with the band, I started cooking for the band. Who's the bass player for Louis Armstrong and King Oliver and
Oh,
all these
okay.
guys. And I was like, oh, what a great idea! Maybe that'll help bring that in. And I was trying to like get band hangs happening a little more, but uh, it's not quite, it's not what I imagine. Like the Allman Brothers, they lived in a house and like and carved out all these songs, and the band, they went to like Woodstock and they lived together and
Yeah.
the stuff. And I did fantasize about that a little bit, and I did try to kind of do that a little bit with the band. But first of all, it's only been a year or
Mm.
two, depending on how you look at it, as kind of like the realized version of this band. And also, we're in New Orleans, and New Orleans is one of the few places in the world that you can like make a decent living without, maybe uh, uh,
So,
s- social welfare, like in some countries in Europe.
mm,
Make a decent living playing music, and like there's enough bars and events to support that. So it it really puts a different spin on things,
yeah, it does. So I was going to ask you about the shows you do. I mean, what kind of audiences do you get? Do you do bars? Do you do little small little festivals there? Where do you play?
I first started, we were doing the House of Blues every week.
Oh,
And we were in the
huh,
back. We like I said, it was a band of sidemen, so it wasn't like I wasn't putting hardly any kind of I wasn't putting a lot of love into it because it was an experiment. And
right.
I would tell the guys in the band too, like, listen, I don't want to go in that direction. A lot of bands, they form and then they're like, form from nothing or
Right.
whatever, form from like a vision and like, okay, we're gonna make it big. You got to be in the band. We're gonna have a band fun because I've been in plenty of these bands, and
Mm,
and because it's kind of based on that. Um, it kind of fizzles out. It's also kind of like, what do you want, let's say you want to make it big, you want to be famous, like what do you want to be famous for? Why
right, right.
big? And a lot of those bands, I felt like there wasn't really an answer. And also in my studies, like the Allman Brothers and the Batiste, back then it was kind of a newer-ish thing to be able to make a living or tour as a band. So yeah, we started doing just like side man gigs at the House of Blues, and I told them they should be able to sub out whenever they wanted because I wanted to play with other musicians too. I
Yeah.
wanted to try this experiment out, and it wasn't until like a year later that people started subbing out because people loved it so much in the band, and we did start with some rehearsals, learning the songs and stuff.
Well,
But
well,
eventually kind of got there, and we started playing other venues and some of the bars. And it wasn't until we played in Charleston for my friend's birthday party. His name is Stratton Moore, and we've become good buddies over the years. And he had a thing called Face Funk, and he called it.
mm,
It was our first time where we went to Charleston,
mm,
and we played at the Poorhouse too, which is a pretty venerable venue. Um, and that was our first taste. And outside of bars, or even the idea that we could play outside of bars. And we've done some do-it-yourself venues, and like we've done like a block party a few times, and we were playing a lot lately at a cafe and a grill because
mm.
they're generous enough to like kind of let us do whatever. And we've been playing lately more at Le Bon Temps Roulette in
Okay.
town, and that's been pretty cool too. And but as far as playing for locals, I mean, Le Bon Temp's kind of got a local following, and also like as far as like festivals, we haven't really broken um into too many festivals yet. I mean, I attribute it to not really having an album, so that's why it's
I
kind of
was
like,
going to ask you that, because now that you're going to have an album out, maybe you could get the word around, regionally and maybe more around the country of what you're doing.
yeah, I think that's a goal because I see flyer posters all the time, and in particular, a lot of jam bands,
Mm,
like, there's a lot of Fish fans and Grateful Dead fans that go to a lot of shows uh, by bands like Kung Fu or Dopapod or you know and some bands like Ween or King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard that just kind of like those all those bands they kind of do whatever they want
Mm,
and and people are like yeah it's great that we love it and it's kind of hard to get that reaction. I mean there's usually at least at least 2 to 5 people at any show that we do uh, anywhere that are like oh wow these guys are throwing down and
oh, that's
they
good.
don't yeah they don't they don't care and it's kind of hard to just get that audience and I kind of feel like it's out there and a lot of them are jam band fans and they're like hey you would be great if you went to this thing or that thing and but it's been a little bit elusive to kind of get into the I'm not sure what the community is. It's a little I think it's a little amorphous, at least in New Orleans.
Right.
There's some bands that are would be considered like the jam band scene, like the Radiators, for example. They're like the Grateful Dead of New Orleans. And you know, they're not uh the bands that are opening for them, well, they don't even have openers nowadays. And they're hardly playing, but like, a lot of the bands that share an audience, I don't see them on the same bill so much. But
Mm,
um, to get back to the festival thing too, like
yeah.
recently, and we're very grateful. Johnny Sketch and the Dirty Notes have been putting on this festival called the Wild Things Family Reunion, and they had us on 2 years ago, and that was really what kind of like launched the band into the phase we're in now. It really gave us a lot of inspiration and encouragement. And they've got us on the lineup again this year, and we're really grateful and stoked about that because they really, you know, Johnny Sketch and the Dirty Notes have been building their following and community in pretty good ways. Like I've seen them
Mm.
uh, the members of the show go and support the other members' side projects and stuff. I've been kind of on the lookout, but only kind of ancillarily because, like I said, it's been like a side project that I've been letting kind of marinate, and
Mm.
it's only now that we have this album that I'm like, okay, okay,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. Let's kind of do this, and at the same time, also kind of like one of the members in our band is a father of two, and one's going to be a father soon, and it's like, okay, realistically, we're in our mid to late 30s or
Yeah. Right.
40s, so we're not going to be road dogging it as hard as other other ages might be willing to. Uh,
But
and
you're gonna have fun doing it. That's the main thing. I mean, that's what
yes,
music's
yes.
about anyway these days. Not many people really making it, but you're having fun. The fans are enjoying it. They come to the shows. And what more can you ask for? And you guys get along.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the
we
rest fall
definitely
into place.
do. Yeah, it's been pretty cool I hoped that it was possible, and I tried my best not to like set myself up for disappointment or like have an agenda and like I like the idea of you can't even if you tell somebody you want to do something and if they do it, then it can be said that it was because you said it. But
Mm.
if you just kind of throw out the idea like, oh, this might be kind of cool if we did this, and it happens, then there's no like, there's not like an ego or there's no pressure or there's no like, it feels a little more like shared than it is a vision of any one person.
Now, where did you record the record at?
It was at Dockside Studios. It's about 2 hours, 3 hours away, and we got a grant from the Threadhead Cultural
Well, you
Foundation.
can't beat that. That's fantastic.
That was another Kickstarter, and
Oh, that's
that was great.
because studio time's expensive.
Yeah, yeah. And we could have done it like the punk way, the do it yourself, and we did end up doing a lot of that also. But as far as the kick, the kick in the pants, and that came from a lot of the members of the Threadheads being at
Mm,
the Wild Things Family Reunion Festival, and,
okay.
and they were really encouraging, and it was really cool to like that chain of events to lead to that. And instead of like using the money to like do it slowly and at cheaper studios, I decided to take this route with consent of the band, even though, maybe they might have a different story. But my idea was, look, these guys are always going to be working all the time. I don't want to like go in and out in my of the studio that with lower stakes
Right. I
because
agree.
it might never happen. And I want to just like go in, go hard, and see what happens. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But
I think
uh,
it's ultimately in the years to come where you look back on this record and say, we did a good record.
experimenting, like I said, also. But you know, one of the points that I had disagreements in my band was like I was kind of like, well, we're only gonna get better. A lot of bands came out with crappy records when they first started out,
Yep.
so we should just start out doing this stuff. And and we did do a few recording sessions before, and like I would shell out a little bit for it, like not expecting the band to pull in because again I wanted this like provide the space for it rather than make people feel obligated. And I'm glad that the band kind of, Alex in particular, kind of pushed back and was like, look, let's put a little more care into it. We can do this better. For example, like our first single that came out, we recorded at a Bad Storm Studios. A friend that I've known for a long time, Gio Blackmon, he agreed. He saw one of our shows and was like, I love you guys. Oh my
Yeah.
God. And so I kind of started with him. And and he was really supportive and like at the end of the at at the end of a bucket of fish, I take a bass solo and we listen to it and I was like, oh yeah, it's like it's live, it's not great, but whatever, like it's in there. Let's just
Yeah.
check it out. And Alex is like, come on, man, you could do better. I'm like, no, it's punk. It's
Yeah.
like
Yep.
we'll keep on recording and it'll keep on getting better, but right now I just want to put it out.
Yep.
Eventually it took a little longer to put out than I wanted to, and so I decided to record another solo on it, and I did put a lot more love into it. Also, kind of like how urgent or how much you want to settle. It's this crazy
Yep.
balance
There is.
that's really interesting. Yeah.
Now, what did you put it out on? CD? You're going to put it out on CD or vinyl, or how's this going to
Well,
be released? What
I don't have
format?
a in it. It might not look great because I don't have the funds to like really shell out. But if there is demand at it for it at some point, then I might. My other plan is I have cassette tapes. I bought a bunch of cassette tapes.
Okay, so that's
A bunch
good
of
too.
them.
There's people buying cassettes.
And it's got an old school, and it's like even if you don't have a cassette player, you get a cassette tape for $10 or something. A player is like a cassette player is like $5, $10.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like that lo-fi, that aesthetic that I like anyway. So
Yeah.
an analog, and so we'll see what happens. I mean, I brought a bunch of cassettes, about 20 of them, 10 to 20 of them, when we went to Charleston, maybe 3 years ago. And at that time, we didn't have any singles out digitally. And that was also the idea for the cassette tape. Just like, okay, it's like a mixtape. It's like this unofficial thing. It's not like these aren't great recordings. So let's kind of bury it in the
Yeah.
lo-fi. And I managed to sell all of them at the shows.
See,
And I was
that's what
like,
I mean. I think you guys need something like that. That when you play to have, maybe some t-shirts made, maybe some buttons, maybe, some of these copies when you have the record out, I think it's gonna make a difference because then they'll have something from the show.
yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. There's a lot of we the only thing we've had so far is stickers, and I know
Mm,
there's a lot of potential for merch. If that, I mean, the idea is the merch helps supplement the music.
right.
And yeah, I haven't gone super hard on it, but I know I've been procrastinating a little bit
Oh,
because
it happens. Maybe once the record comes out, you'll be excited to maybe uh, do more of this.
yeah. And
So,
also it's like, okay, I want to focus on the songwriting and the music and stuff, and like also like how much we are trying to make money off of it is, it'd be nice, but as New Orleans musicians, we're able to make money playing in all these other bands in
see,
New
that's
Orleans,
it.
and so it's kind of it's these different these different pushes and pulls in different directions, and where to invest the time has been kind of interesting to manage. A mentality that is a reason I'm kind of let's say, marketing the band as part of the reason that I'm marketing the band as jam band is because like it's like the all those bands like the Grateful Dead and Fish, they were allowing the audience to record their shows and
Yep,
encouraging them to disseminate it. And I like that idea. Like you want to get people to come to your live shows,
right.
and yeah, I mean that's what we want to do. It's not, it'd be nice to record really great stuff, but it's really nice to play a great show with each other, and
Oh, imagine.
yeah, that's what we want to keep doing. That's why we're doing it, not because, I mean, it'd be cool to come out with a great recording too, but a
Well, you're
lot,
trying. That's
yeah,
all you can do now, with so much out there of music, and you guys are really putting a lot of energy into it, and now you got somebody like Howard helping you out, right?
yeah, yeah.
He's
Howard has
great.
been great, really instrumental in
He's told me about a lot of great groups, and you're one of them he mentioned. So, I mean, so you got a good guy there to maybe get your word out about your music.
yeah, I love how Howard gets it too. Howard Wolfing, like, Renee Coman of the Iguanas and a bunch of other bands,
Right.
one who turned me on to him, and I'm really grateful to him for that connection. And it's been like a year since I've contacted him because I was thinking about promoting the single first. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of
Mm,
like, I've asked a lot of people for advice who are successful,
mm,
and everybody's kind of like, the consensus seems to be they don't really know what they're doing either.
mm.
I've just got to experiment and see what works for myself. But Howard's like, I just learned through some of these interviews, and seeing that he's had some interviews on these podcasts, that he was part of that the do-it-yourself scene with like
Yep.
CDs, and that punk, like the fanzines, like Discord and Descenes. Yeah, and it's really cool. Like it's really cool to work with somebody who understands or who has the same kind of values.
Right. Right. He's good at what he does. I mean, he's very, accurate and really wants to make sure you guys get on these shows, these
Yeah.
podcasts. So, what's the exact date of the record again when it comes out? What date in November?
November 14th is
Okay,
when it hits all
great.
the streaming platforms. And I also said cassettes. So if people contact me, it's like, okay, I want a cassette tape. I'm like, all right, I got you. I'm gonna I've done it before. I've got them. I'll like mail them.
So, I want you to send me your description of where do you want me to put it on the title description of where to get your music, how to contact you, and hopefully we can sell some records for you.
That'd be great. That'd be
Because you
great.
guys are really trying hard, and I like your sound, and just a matter of getting your name out there.
That'd be awesome.
And I
Yeah.
hope I helped.
I hope so too. I mean,
Uh,
I'm just happy to be talking with somebody who's interested in also kind of like it's good to have something to say about the band and share because I think the draw of bands and music, I think it's clear now and apparent, obvious that it's the humanness of them that kind
Yep.
of draw. There's not there are trends and there are like loads. There's like kind of uh, uh, mass consent in the form of like followers and numbers,
Right. I agree.
and but ultimately, I think it's we have to be willing to talk to an audience or in on an interview, and it's nice to get practice doing so. And it's nice to have something to say too, because it's been quite some years before this was actually a project that I felt like was worth putting out. Because it's a
Well,
gum to get to that level of being able to play music that makes people happy. That's
that's that's the word right there. Yep.
like,
That's it.
it takes a lot of work to
It does.
be happy and grateful on stage, especially because, you know, even if you're playing the song that you love the most, even if it's a song everybody knows, like if you play it too many times or you're playing it with people who aren't really present and they're mailing it in because they're tired of playing it,
Yeah, you
it's
don't want people
a
like
vibe
that.
killer. It's a real vibe killer. And I think that us all being sidemen in so many different bands and us playing, having learned so many covers and having played so many
Mm,
shows and having received you know, sometimes great money for it and sometimes adoration for it.
right.
It's like you can get money and adoration without really sending it,
Yeah.
and I think what brings us together in Captain Buckles at least is like, it's like 1,000%
Well,
clear.
that's great to hear.
Yeah, every time we're on stage,
Mm,
we're in it for like us and the music. We really serve the song, and I think that that kind of focus, that intention is so it's so elusive. First of all,
yes, it
like
is.
even the greatest who've reached peak after peak after peak aren't able to do that sometimes, and and I think it's really special because of that. It takes a lot
Right.
of human like presence, and you got to be a conduit, and you got to like really check your ego at the door, unless you're somebody like James Brown or something, where
Right, right.
you're like
Exactly.
your ego is like this fireball that
Yeah.
everybody's like riding, like and it's yeah, I'm very grateful to have had all of these experiences and continue to with really great musicians and feed into this idea of what to do in this band and that the fact that these guys come together to play this music with
Yeah.
me, and in the ways that we do is like, yeah, every time it happens I'm just like, wow, it's a miracle.
Yeah. Well, Smitty, we've ended on a great note here. You've been a fantastic guest, and I wish the best of luck to you because you've got your heart into it.
Yeah,
And that's
thanks.
all you can do.
I hope it's infectious,
And
but
I hope this interview is infectious where people watch it and decide to buy your records, right? And come to your shows in New Orleans.
that'd be cool. That'd be great.
All
Yeah.
right. So great seeing you down to Big Easy, and thanks for coming on.